narcissist projection and how this can have an impact on your life. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. I hope you're finding the information on the channel helpful, and I do really appreciate your support. If you are new to the channel, my name is Elizabeth Shaw, and this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people and the situations you might have been through throughout your life, how to handle yourself around these people if you cannot go no contact, and different ways to find the one that works for you to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information on the channel helpful, please do subscribe. This video is all about the narcissist projection. We can all project. We can project things that we feel ashamed within ourselves about. Our pride can try and protect us. We can all be a little bit judgmental at times, often without meaning to be nasty. If someone is doing something that's not matching our values or beliefs, we can be judgmental of that person. Projection is a natural defense mechanism. Narcissistic people just take it to that next level of where it becomes negative and toxic and destroys relationships. When it comes to projection within the love bombing stage of the relationship, the narcissist mirrors you and who you are. So you're in one way projecting your good qualities and good traits and your desires and your hopes and your dreams and your hobbies, the things that you like to do, telling them all about yourself and who you are as a person. You are projecting those onto the narcissist. And where with two people you could have that two-way conversation where you're learning about each other. With a narcissist, they are soaking that information in so they can mirror you and reflect back to you what you are telling them, the things that you would like to hear, the things that you would like to see, the things that you would like to achieve within your life. So they mirror you and then project you back onto yourself. This often comes with the traits of the disorder such as grandiosity, arrogance, the belief that they are special. They can come across as very confident people, although it's not confidence, it's that arrogance. They are actually hiding insecurities within themselves by acting arrogant towards other people. They're also picking up on your dreams and your hobbies and your desires and matching them. They're not actually the individual narcissist desires and hobbies. They are just borrowing yours to sell to you so that they can exploit you. It's that admiration face that they put on where they flatter you with constant attention, and they are projecting, they are mirroring you and then projecting you back towards you. And they can come across as extremely charming when they have their admiration face on, when they're full of grandiosity and grand ideas and they're making the ideal of what your future life will look like together. It's a very charming person, and they can pull you in through that charm and through that what is perceived by us to be confident, because quite often we don't work the same way as them, so we don't see that someone would manipulate someone in those ways, why it takes so much understanding once out of the situation, why we do find it all so unbelievable until we understand the workings behind it and we've actually lived it. So we know it's not unbelievable, it is believable because we lived it. At some point, once the narcissist has love bombed and idolised and charmed you in, they slowly then begin to devalue you, because a narcissist can only keep that side of them up for so long. At some point, the narcissist will project their negative side into us. Nobody is perfect. We are all imperfectly perfect. We all make mistakes. We all make errors in judgment. A narcissist will pick apart our weaknesses, our mistakes, our errors in judgment. At the beginning, they'll learn about these and they'll seem like they're all for helping and supporting us. But as the relationship progresses, they don't like to see, because they're in one way mirroring who we are, they don't like to see the negatives in us. because they don't want those negatives within themselves. They're protecting that whole inner shell of the insecurities, the shame, possible fear of abandonment. They're trying to protect themselves, so they don't want to see the negatives in other people, even though those things are, we all make mistakes in life, so they're often with good intentions, but a narcissist does not want to see that within other people. Because the narcissist is projecting, you've also got that envious side to them, where they are envious of other people, where they exploit other people, where they lack the empathy to care for other people, where they are preoccupied with their own power and success, their own ideal of how they want things to go throughout their life. So when they make a mistake, they cannot admit that mistake within themselves. To a narcissist, it is always someone else's fault. So they then project those mistakes onto other people, or they project their thoughts and their feelings onto other people. So if they're angry, they're going to set the environment to cause anger within you, to accuse you of being the angry one. If they're jealous, they're going to set the environment to cause you to feel jealous, and then turn around and say, I didn't make you feel that way. If they're cheating on you, they're going to accuse you of cheating on them. If they're lying, they are going to accuse you of being the liar. When we pay close attention to what they're telling us, they often do tell on themselves. And our instincts do tell us in one way, because in the beginning it's quite difficult when they're saying something that just doesn't match up, or accusing you of something that you haven't done, and you're just a bit like, wait, what is going off? It's not quite makes sense. But we know we're not perfect within ourselves, so instead of being too judgmental on them, and because they have shown us that ideal stage and that love bombing and that flattery, and we see the good within ourselves in one way, in them, we see that they are a good person. We can also see their insecurities and weaknesses, and we know we have those within ourselves, so we want to help them through any insecurities, weakness and flaws, as we would like people to help us through those things, people to see us for who we are as a whole person, and love us for who we are as a whole person. Yes, we can all be ashamed of certain things, so there is certain parts of us we would not like the entire world to know about, but often we would like our close loved ones to know about and love us in spite of those things where we might have made an error in judgment or a mistake. A narcissist will not love someone in spite of anything. They will only love their ideal of what they want out of life and out of a relationship. So when they start projecting back onto us who they are and the things that they have done, they almost in one way see that negative. Some are more calculated and know exactly what they are doing. Some it's just natural instinct. So they potentially tell so many lies. Most of them often end up believing their own lies. So once they've put into us that we're the one cheating on them, that paranoia within some of them will then kick in, and they will believe that we are cheating on them, which to them will make it acceptable that they're cheating on us, even though we're not actually cheating on them. It's that narcissist sense of entitlement. They do as I say and not as I do. They believe they're entitled to special attention. They believe they're entitled to special treatment. They believe they're entitled to live life how they want to live their life. They're not overly keen on rules or morals or boundaries or respect for other people. Yet, because of their insecurities, they expect you to be loyal to them while they are only loyal to themselves. Through a narcissist projection, they often condition us to see our good within them and see their bad within us, which is why so many people who come out of a narcissistic relationship often question themselves, am I the narcissist? We do make mistakes throughout our lives. We do react when we are pushed so far. People do react. Everybody is capable of reacting. There may be people that haven't reacted, but everybody is capable of reacting. We can have all done things to try and make life easier around a narcissistic person that we ourselves are ashamed of, which makes us then question, well, are we the narcissist? And the thing is, the majority of narcissistic people do not recognise their own behaviour. They don't recognise their own mistakes. If you can be accountable for your own behaviour, if you can feel things like guilt for your own behaviour and learn from the mistakes, you are most likely not a narcissist. A narcissist does not accept responsibility for their behaviour. They pass the blame. They kind of, in one way you could say, they kind of merge you into one person. Their projection, because they're projecting you onto you and projecting themselves onto you, they kind of merge you into that one person to unite. And the narcissist then sees the parts they don't like within themselves within you, and you see the parts that you want to help or change within yourself within them. So instead of working on yourself, you end up putting more time and attention into the narcissist and working on helping them, when we need to step away and help ourselves. And that's without all the narcissist gaslighting and blame shifting and financial abuse and isolation and intimidation. There is so much more that goes into the dynamics of a relationship with a narcissist. It's not as straightforward to see what's happening and just get out of the relationship. It doesn't work like that. There's usually one light bulb moment, be it significant or insignificant. There's usually just that one moment where we've just had enough and realised that the pain of leaving is going to be far better than the pain of staying. And it's incredibly difficult to leave, but once you do leave, life does begin to get better as long as we start working on ourselves. Projection is a form of the narcissist's control over us. A narcissist sets the environment to condition us. They set that idolization stage within the relationship. They offer those intermittent reinforcements of the idolization stages. So they will devalue us, they will insult us, they will intimidate us, they will gaslight us into believing it was our fault or make us feel like we are not enough and bring us down. And if we then might question them on something, they go through all the word salad and gaslighting and projection and deflection to try and distract us from what's truly happening. If we then work harder because we believe it's our fault to please them, we then get something right for them. They might deliver on one of those promises to kind of almost confirm within our minds that it was us that was at fault and not the narcissist. They are forever setting the environment with future faking. It is to distract us from the pain of what's happening in the present by promising us a future that we would like, but they're not going to work hard for that future because it's not actually something they want. They've just mirrored us to sell to us so that they can exploit us. So they're not going to work hard to achieve that, because life is hard work. You do have to put the work in to achieve things. And even those narcissists that have achieved things have often taken shortcuts somehow, even down to exploiting people to get to where they are, using people to get to where they are. They set the environments when it comes to special occasions. If that special occasion isn't about them, they're going to make sure that they create that atmosphere within the household to bring everybody else down, so that if you do actually go, you are going to be the one that feels off balance, that feels emotional. And the narcissist, once they've brought everybody else down, they often feel better about themselves and turn up being the life and the soul of the party. Those false apologies where it's always if only you, if only I'm sorry, if only you, I'm sorry, but those sorts of apologies where they're always passing the blame back over to you. That false apology is only because they want to exploit you for some need of their own. And once you've accepted that apology, their behaviour often will get worse. They set it so if you're out and they'll start paying somebody a lot of attention, and they might even pick up the things that they know you're insecure about and pay attention to that person about those things, flattering that person about those things, to pull on your insecurities, to pull on your emotions, so that they can then start accusing you of being jealous, you of being insecure, you of overreacting, you of imagining things that you know you haven't. And that's when you stand there and you're thinking, no, you were doing that with that person in front of me, and now you're saying it's me. And then they'll come at you with the sulks or the silent treatments, or they'll take something away from you. They almost treat you like a child. They are a toddler in an adult's body, throwing major tantrums when they don't get their own way. But when they don't get their own way with you, when you do something they don't like, that they believe has stopped them from doing what they want, they have to punish you, even though you haven't done anything wrong. They seem to need to punish you even though you haven't done anything. They are treating you like a child, and some will actually say to you, I'm not a child, which is because they are treating you, or trying to treat you like a child. They're trying to they're trying to take down who you are as a person. They're trying to set the environment to get you to conform, but not in a way of, we raise children to have empathy, to have boundaries, to learn respect, to have morals. They're doing it in a way of control, which is what they do to their own children. They love bomb their children by buying them things. Some do, not all. Some do walk out on their own children, but they will love bomb their children to get the attention, to get their needs met, and then they will drop the children. They are training the children up, they train partners up, they train bosses up. They condition people to behave through the gaslighting and other different manipulation methods, how the narcissist wants them to behave for the narcissist. They will fabricate false accusations towards you, so that you are always playing on the defensive. You are always defending who you are. You're always defending your thoughts. You're always defending your character. You're always defending your opinions. And then often you start to question who you are as a person, to escape you questioning them on things that they have actually done. And if you were to question them on something that they had actually done, they will twist it round somehow to be your fault. Projection is a mix of gaslighting and blame shifting, because they're gaslighting you into no longer believing who you are as a person, while blaming you for who they are as a person. They rationalise, they deny, they lie, they gaslight, because they want to protect themselves. Their ego is protecting that dark side within them that they don't want themselves or other people to know about. And some aren't even aware of this within themselves. Some are, but still they often believe it's everybody else's fault. Through projection, they almost steal the good within you and project their bad into you. So we lose who we are as a person, and we feel like we are a terrible person. We feel so much guilt for things that we haven't even done. In one way, from whatever happened to a narcissist, whether it is shame, whether it is insecurities, whether it is fear of abandonment, whatever it is within that individual narcissist, because although they've got the traits, so they would be classed as on the disorder if they have at least of the 5 of the 9 traits, they are an individual that's lived an individual's life. So whatever it is within that narcissist that they are running from, they can never run from. They try to merge with people to get people to make them feel better about themselves, but the more they project themselves onto people, the more they see themselves within that person, which is often when they will up and run onto the next person to then mirror and take the good from that person. And it can seem like when they move on that they're truly happy and they are mirroring that person, but eventually they are going to project their toxic into that person, almost see themselves within that person and then run on, because they never get to the bottom of what's the issues within themselves that they need to sort out. But the more they exploit people, the more they use people, the more they hurt people, the more issues they are creating within themselves, even though they're blaming all the people that they've left in the past of the things that they've done. And often why, once out of the situation and people do start clearing the fog, because a narcissist rules, often controls through fear, obligation and guilt, with all the different manipulations. So once that fog starts to clear and we begin to see what's truly happening and find ourselves again and find our happiness again and start creating our life for us again, when a narcissist sees this, that's often when they try to come back, because they want the control of that situation again. They probably remember those beginning stages when it was quite working out all right, and when they see you acting like this again, they can often come back to try and exploit you again, especially those that are too lazy to go through the love bombing stages with other people. The trauma bond, we are emotionally and chemically addicted to them, so space and distance does break the trauma bond. A few ways to help you recover is writing down the situations in their entirety and what actually happened, the lead up to events, so that you can start piecing the puzzle back together and start living in your own reality again. When it comes to breaking things like trauma bonds, you have got to, when it comes to breaking things like the trauma bond, you've got to write down those negatives, and you've got to remember those negatives, and it is painful, and you've got to find the right support to help you through that painful time and gain the validation of the things that have happened to you within the relationship, to make sure that you do stay away and don't go back, because life will become easier. Then you can get to a point, once you have let it go, once you have left it in the past, once you've worked on those triggers so that those triggers no longer bring you. And yes, it takes time, and it's individual to the person how long that time takes. Memories that are quite fresh, they're going to trigger a lot easier than memories that are 20, 25 years old. So it does take time to work on our triggers, but at some point you can also remember those good times for what you want to remember them for. You live that life. You don't have to wipe out 10, 20, 25 years of your life of a complete waste of time, and I've ruined my life and I've wasted so much time and energy on that person. There will have been good moments, because those good moments will have been what kept you trapped within the relationship. Those good moments will have been the things that made you go back when the narcissist came from the Hoover. So once you get to that point where you no longer are trauma bonded to them, you can remember those good times, because life isn't a waste of time. Life is a journey. Life is incredibly painful, and some heartbreaking, traumatic things can happen to you, and nobody deserves those kinds of treatments. But the longer we dwell, I know this isn't a nice thing to hear, but the longer we dwell on things like that, the more it pains us in our present, the more it pains us in our future for things that happened to us in our past. We do have to work on overcoming the things that have happened to us in our past. We can't just go, let's not talk about this anymore and let's just move on, because at some point something's going to hit you. So working through that pain of the past during your present while working on creating your future will help you get to that future point where it no longer triggers you in the same way. Yes, something can still trigger you, but the effect it'll have on your emotions will be different than when it's fresh in your mind. If anyone has any advice, anything that's helped them work on the pain of the past, please do add it into the comments. I shall add the video on pattern interrupt, because quite often once we do get out of the relationship, they can be running around our headspace a little more than we would like. So I shall add the video on pattern interrupt into the description. Also the courses that are online courses, basically just to give you more information about the disorder and different ways to recover and different ways to help with things like anxiety and trauma bonding. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope everyone has an amazing day. Bye.